Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Fish Tank. And a comment from last week's episode was, we loved having a girl in the show for the first time ever. Can you please get some more? So I rang up Jimbo and said, can we get loads of birds in this week's episode? And this is the result. I'm recording from inside a big bird cage, and I'll be honest, I'm not overly delighted at it. It is a little bit scary because I'm not a big fan of these type of birds. And I could indeed catch bird flu, but apparently you only catch bird flu if you get sort of in a very intimate situation with the birds. As far as I'm aware, Jimbo, I'm not actually going to get into that situation, am I, Jimbo?
No.
No, apparently I'm not, so I won't catch bird flu, hopefully. Sorry, on we move to Apology of the Week, and I have to apologise because of a letter I received. It says on it, in last week's show, you quite clearly looked at a lady's breasts. As well as this, you tried to make cheap laughs from saying rude words, like testicles, and this is not on. We expect higher standards from the fish tank, as opposed to getting cheap laughs from rude words. So I apologise for that. And that letter comes from Mr. Andrew Nickers as well. Right, so now, what's been happening this week? Well, quite a lot of things, actually. This morning I went to the post office to take some... I had to post some DVDs out to people that my housemate had sold. And I took them there, and apparently there's like loads of new ways to pay for your post. Because you can either send it as a normal letter or a large letter. And these birds, I'll be honest, are getting a bit overexcited appearing in the fish tank, but there you go. I feel like David Attenborough in this thing, and as we watch now, with the birds over the shoulder. Not that kind of thing. Right, but I took these things down to the post office, and apparently it costs more if your letter's slightly bigger and slightly thicker. But it doesn't matter how much it weighs anymore. And what's the whole deal with first class and second class stamps? Right, I'll take in a second class letter. What do they do with it? Right, here's my first class letter, they pass it straight on. Here's my second class letter, oh, we'll just leave it here for a few days, then we'll pass it on. What's the whole deal with it? And perhaps when they take it in the van, it's like an aeroplane. If you're in first class, you get to sit at the front with a bit of extra leg room for your letters. Then your second class letters are stuck right in the back. I don't know, it's a really strange thing, but oh well. Also in the news, apparently Paris Hilton has designed her own pair of shoes. She wanted them to be like Doc Martens, with the made predominantly for fans apparently, like Doc Martens, and it's sort of got like a sole full of air in it. Because she went over to the agent who was making shoes for her and said, I want them like Doc Martens for the fans. So he said, oh right, air soles, because yeah, that's the fans, they're air soles. And so aside from that, also I heard in the news this week that George Bush has apparently had a colonoscopy, which involves a camera being inserted into his, into his bottom, and it sort of like looks around for whatever he might have up there. Perhaps part of Tony Blair, but I don't want to say that explicitly, but I might sort of want to imply it slightly. But there you go. There's also been news that apparently the Russians, as well as sort of getting involved in a bit of a diplomatic crisis with our country, they also went underneath the North Pole and stuck a Russian flag in the ground, claiming that because it's attached to their continent, they can claim the North Pole. Which is a bit harsh, but to be fair, there are parts of... There are British flags sort of stuck about a mile underwater, particularly on, churches in Gloucestershire and that kind of thing. So there you go. Right, well, it's time for the Celeb-ometer. On last week's show, I launched an appeal for Sean Murphy and Jamie Cook to appear on the show. This week, forget Sean Murphy, it's just Jamie Cook I want. Right? I said I'd seen him in Morrison's, and, Jimbo'd seen him in Asda. Oh, sorry, Jimbo'd seen him in the Co-op, and my brother'd seen him in Asda. Yesterday, Jimbo again saw him in the Asda. Apparently he was buying some pasta sauce. Again, loves his pasta, that boy. Good carbohydrate for him, so keeps himself nice and fit. And also 4 bottles of bottled water. Is he sort of, leaving his Sheffield roots behind him and sort of becoming a bit of a posh person and drinking bottled water? What's wrong with him? Or he could be going on tour again or something like that, whichever. So anyway, Jamie, if you want to appear in the show, then feel free. We won't always be in a birdcage, but oh well. Right, now it's time for Headline of the Week. And this headline comes from the Financial Times, and it says, it's about Gordon Brown and 24-hour drink. It says, Brown to take sober look at 24-hour drinking. Well, ideally would take a sober look at it, so you can sort of get a full, proper thinking involved in it. Because otherwise you might just say, oh, I really want to have 24-hour drinking again, because it's absolutely brilliant. I'm so drunk, it's great, this 24-hour drinking. Which probably wouldn't be good for a Prime Minister. So, anyway, now it is time for Quote of the Week. And it's from Paul Martin, who's the presenter of Flog It. Little known fact as well that Paul Merton, the comedian of I Got News For You, his real name is Paul Martin. We had to change it because Paul Martin, who presents Flog It, is already called Paul Martin. And he said, these pots will now go under the hammer. Not really a very good thing to do if it's particularly valuable, because you're just going to smash them everywhere. And no one wants broken pottery, do they? I know he sells sort of broken biscuits at supermarkets. Jamie Cook's probably bought some. But there's no need to break up your valuables, so to speak. So there you go, that's it. That's the end of the show, and indeed the end of the series. Because this is the end of the third series, episode 30, and it's been a lot like a roller coaster. Because at times a roller coaster makes you feel a bit sick as well.
And I'll see you next week.
Whoa, what are you doing now?
Regenerating, aren't
That weren't agreed. I thought this was my fish tank. What are you doing wearing my top? Right, sorry. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.